Hey guys, got new contacts. Yes, I know they look very scary, okay, but I need them to see. Hello folks, we are in the middle of 2024, and it looks like this year is truly the year of the haters. From Meg Thee Stallion releasing Hiss back in January, to every YouTuber hating on the Avatar The Last Airbender live action remake, to Taylor Swift torturing poets, and now to the intense hatred that Kendrick Lamar and the general hip-hop community feels for Drake.
Drake? Drake?
As many of you have probably heard, esteemed legendary rapper Kendrick Lamar was engaged in an ongoing rap battle with Canadian pop artist Drake for about a week. As anyone actually familiar with hip-hop could probably tell you, this beef has been a long time coming, especially since Kendrick and Drake have been exchanging subliminals on their tracks for about a decade. And the beef between the two officially sparked with Kendrick's verse in the song Like That, which released back in the end of March. Kendrick said, "Mother the big three, fella, it's just big me." This was in response to Drake and J. Cole's song First Person Shooter, which was released back in October 2023, where they named themselves, plus Kendrick, the big three in hip-hop. Because of Kendrick's verse in Like That, Drake got pretty mad and really kicked off this beef with his diss track Push-Ups, which was pretty good. And then when Kendrick didn't respond right away, Drake released Tailor-Made Freestyle, which was pretty bad. But 2 weeks after Tailor-Made Freestyle, Kendrick responded with Euphoria, and then the beef escalated at breakneck speeds. And it's gotten so huge that literally everyone's talking about it. I mean, like, prime example number one. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, even Tumblr Fujoshis for whatever reason. Rappers from all over the world are hopping on Metro Boomin's BBL Drizzy track to troll Drake. The whole world was on beef watch, myself included. I was supposed to post a different video last Monday, but I haven't touched it for 2 weeks because I was busy refreshing Kendrick's page over and over again and then reading up on everyone's reactions to this beef. And that's honestly been such an interesting part of this whole thing. Because this beef is so huge and has expanded past the realms of the hip-hop community, you have people from all sorts of different communities having interesting takes on it. And that is kind of what I want to talk about today. The cultural impact of this beef, why everyone should care even if you're not into hip-hop, my opinions on the reactions I've been seeing, and what I hope ends up happening as a result of this beef. So let's get started with this beef's cultural impact. As mentioned before, many people in the hip-hop community have been waiting for this battle. And from the looks of it, one aspect of this battle is a battle for authenticity. Culture vulture and colonizer are both insults that have been thrown at Drake by Kendrick and some portion of the hip-hop community, who argue that this Canadian pop artist has no right to claim any titles or space in the American hip-hop scene. In the meanwhile, I've also seen a lot of Drake fans and a different portion of the hip-hop community criticize Kendrick's moral high horse approach. And look, I'm not here to police a culture that I am not a part of. I'm not deep in the hip-hop community, and I'm Filipino, okay? But I have been listening to rap since I was 10, and I'm a longtime Kendrick fan ever since Good Kid, Mad City. But what I do understand is that this is music history in the making. This beef is so huge that it has woken up a few beloved hip-hop channels that had been long asleep before this feud took off. Kendrick's song, Not Like Us, is breaking records. It broke Spotify's single-day streaming record for a hip-hop song, and it broke the record for the most viewed rap song in a single day on YouTube. You have music professors and girly pop culture channels talking about it. You have animators making Quentin Tarantino-esque animations of the beef. When was the last time a piece of music transcended genre niches and got the whole world talking about it like this? But unfortunately, because this beef has made waves in spaces where people not as familiar with hip-hop reside, you sure do get some ignorant takes. Especially because I go on Tumblr a lot, which is not hip-hop central. I've seen a lot of people who aren't familiar with the culture brush this off as petty celebrity infighting, or more awfully, a planned psyop to distract from Gaza. Many of those posts I can't really find anymore because thankfully the OPs got bullied into deleting their posts, but it sure was stupid to read. First of all, as mentioned before, this beef has been a long time coming. I would not call this beef manufactured or shallow based on the magnitude of the claims being made, which I'll talk about in a sec. But in general, the lyrics Kendrick says in his diss tracks are genuinely written by a man who truly wants to delete Drake's existence. As for the psyop to distract from Gaza part, like, do you really think people can't pay attention to multiple things at once? Oh, sorry, hold on. Let me do this. Does this help you make a donation and listen to Meet the Grams at the same time? Like, where is that same energy for boycotting the Met Gala then? Won't that also distract from Rafa? Like, if you really want to make that argument, please spend more energy boycotting Eurovision, which has actually banned the Palestinian flag and any other pro-Palestinian symbols in their venue. I think it's insulting to downplay such a monumental moment for hip-hop that is the Kendrick-Drake feud. Bad bitches know how to do both, and that's all I really wanted to say on that matter. But now I'd like to talk about the other aspect of this battle, and that is a battle of character and public perception. Typically in rap battles, rappers will say some pretty heinous shit. If you listen to any diss track, you'll encounter a lot of low blows. From I f***ed your wife lines to you got a disease loser lines. Both of which were from Tupac, and that's why Tupac's the f***ing GOAT. But yeah, in general, lines where rappers are threatening to shoot up their rivals or whatever is pretty common. And it doesn't necessarily mean shit. That's kind of just how rap battles are. Rappers engage with them to be absolutely ruthless to each other. And it's fun entertainment for the fans to watch. Plus, a good portion of the time, it doesn't actually lead to any physical violence. But Kendrick and Drake's battle feels a little different because it doesn't really feel like just two guys proving their musical dominance over each other, though that is what some people choose to solely focus on. Some of the lyrics really sound like Kendrick is trying to whistleblow on Drake, and maybe even some industry practices. Or, at the very least, trying to get him completely cancelled, which seems to be working. See, the first round of disses were typical for rap beef, with Drake calling Kendrick short and less famous or whatever, and then Kendrick shooting back at Drake by calling him a culture vulture, and listing off essentially all the things he personally hates about this man.
Now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
But the situation really escalated once Kendrick started shooting PDF file claims towards Drake, and Drake started shooting back with domestic abuse claims towards Kendrick. And those are the parts I think everyone should care about. And I think what makes this situation so unique is the type of rapper Kendrick is, and the image that he's crafted for himself throughout his career. Because when it comes to comparing Kendrick and Drake, it really is kind of a matter of quality versus quantity. Drake releases a lot of radio hits, and the general public is very familiar with his name. On the other hand, Kendrick releases music sparsely. He'll drop an album and then disappear for years on end. But when he does drop, the people who are his fans get really f***ing excited for it. And his shit is quite literally critically acclaimed quality. And because his music is dropped less frequently and tends to have such powerful messages interwoven into such artistic lyrics, when he drops, people really listen. And so when he emerges after 5 years of silence to tell the world that Drake is a pedophile that allegedly runs a sex trafficking ring, the whole world is listening to that. I've seen a lot of people criticize how others are reacting to Kendrick's diss tracks by saying that he's not saying anything new, that people have known that Drake is a grooming weirdo, and they're not wrong. The footage that people are digging up now are not new. Anyone who has been paying attention to the whole Drake situation knows that he harbors some general pedophile vibes. And I started actually hating him back in 2018 when the Millie Bobby Brown interview came out. I'm sure everyone's seen it at this point. And let me just say, I don't think any adult has any business texting a kid who is 17 years younger than them. I don't think Drake had any business partying it up with teens. And I don't think he had any business kissing that 17-year-old when he was 23. I think that's weird behavior from him, despite what those girls feel about it. They could come out and say they were okay with it, but that does not make it acceptable behavior on the adult's end. I'm also going to address this right now because I've been seeing so many brain dead takes from Drake fans. Let's say you're a parent with your kid, and there's an adult stranger playing with your kid and your kid is having fun. But that adult stranger starts touching on your kid and making comments about your kid's body. Yeah, your kid is still having fun, but wouldn't you as the parent start beating on that adult's ass? I'll make it easier for you. There's only one correct answer in this situation. The problem is that people have been saying this, but for the past decade, Drake had still been a hit artist who had a platform. But by Kendrick essentially making it culturally cool to hate Drake, and making it a trend to scream in the clubs about how he's a PDF sicko, that might actually change the game. Listen, I've never been a fan of Drake. I've always found his music boring. I did hear about the culture vulture claims before this beef, and I've also seen a lot of people talk about the Kendrick side of the situation. How do we know those domestic abuse claims aren't true? And we don't. And I mean, Kendrick has said in his songs multiple times that he's not perfect. He has flaws, and he has compared himself to Kodak Black, who is a horrible person. So, there is a chance that Drake could be telling the truth about these DV claims, and I will be incredibly sad if they're true. Though I could talk about why I don't really believe Drake, and that is because he's lost a lot of credibility in my opinion with the shit he said on The Heart Part 6. But I won't speak too much on that because I'm sure it's been talked to death at this point. And if you haven't formed your opinion by now, you know, I'm not going to convince you. But more importantly, when it comes to the both sides arguments in regards to Kendrick versus Drake, I'm not sure if these allegations are on the same level like some people are making it out to be. Domestic abuse is terrible. I'm gonna say that's like 50 bad person points. But PDF file downloading and running an entire trafficking ring? That's like multiple women involved. That's gotta be at least like 200 bad person points. And because of the magnitude and weight of the claims that are made against Drake, if there are receipts out there, I'd love for them to come to light. So that way that sort of sick behavior can be put to a stop. And while Kendrick may not have the receipts himself to put Drake in jail, what he is doing is effectively attacking the image and popularity Drake loves most, both in the hip-hop community and in the areas outside of it. While it's not the exact same situation, they were at least able to do this with ex-K-pop star Seungni from Big Bang, who was arrested for running a sex trafficking ring in Korea. Now, I'm not advocating for a witch hunt every time someone forgets to wipe their ass, but I am encouraging people to speak up when behavior is weird and to not let up when it goes unaddressed. Cause even though people have been trying to call out Drake for a while, maybe now's finally the time the truth will be unearthed. Whether it turns out he's guilty of everything Kendrick's accused him of, or just a weirdo who needs to stop getting friendly with young girls.
You know what I've never thought in all my years as a 30-year-old? Can I please talk to a teenager for extended periods of time?
Can I please talk?
The literal, one of my life goals is finding ways to talk to them as little as possible.
So in conclusion, I believe this Kendrick-Drake battle has implications much larger than just rap beef. Because if what Kendrick said was true, this could mark an important moment in history where an artist actually called out the industry for the shady shit they do behind closed doors. And it could inspire other artists to expose others in the industry. Cause Lord knows how dirty that industry is. And I think the diss track period is over, but it looks like this beef will have lasting effects. As of the time I'm filming this, just yesterday there was a shooting right outside of Drake's mansion, and he also just posted this clip from a Netflix series called A Man in Full on his IG story, so maybe the battle isn't actually over after all. Editing sugar meat here, it also looks like there were 2 break-in attempts at Drake's mansion after the shooting, and now some anonymous player under the Twitter handle Ebony Prince 2K24 has entered this beef, whom fans are dubbing the Riddler. The Riddler gained public interest when they posted a video of Drake's medications and receipts, all of which were items in Kendrick's cover art for his diss track Meet the Grams. Internet sleuths have concluded that this is the mole that fed Kendrick information about Drake, and that the video was filmed at a rooftop lounge of a hotel next to Kendrick's penthouse in Brooklyn. Ever since the video, the Riddler has been posting cryptic messages and CCTV footage that suggests that Drake is part of a larger conspiracy. It's hard to say if this is a legitimate threat or not, because it is weird that this Twitter account has this footage, yet at the same time he's also getting baited by a LeBron fan page, so hard to say. He did threaten to drop a lot of receipts on Monday if Drake doesn't get in touch with him, which should be today if I'm on time with posting this video, so you know, looks like we'll find out the results to that real soon. But either way, like I said, looks like the rap portion of the beef is done, and now the internet and apparently other crazy people are taking matters into their own hands. What a wild turn of events. Anyway, what do you think of this beef? Have you been following it? If so, what has been your favorite diss track so far? Let me know in the comments below. But with that, friends, if you like this video, please like, subscribe maybe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
What is it, the brakes? I hurt your feelings, you don't work with me no more, okay.
Woo, shit, my man, serious.
Euphoria.